Hello, eighth grade. So today, our lesson for today, we're going to go over the introduction to history. So let's get started. So your I can statements for today is I can explain how scientists use fossils and artifacts to draw conclusions about early humans. 2. Discuss how archaeological evidence indicates that human life began in Africa. 3. Know and understand the difference between history and a historian. And lastly, number 4, understand how professions contribute to studying history. So, what is history? History is the study of past events, while historians study past events. So, anthropology is another branch of history or social sciences, and really what it is the study of it's the study of human beings, how they behave, how they act together, where they came from, and what makes one group of people different from another. So a person that actually studies anthropology is considered an anthropologist. So as you see here, Dr. Bones, the lady on the right, she portrays herself as an anthropologist. So archaeologist. So there's a difference between an anthropologist and an archaeologist. And they are just people that study human life in the past by examining the things that people left behind. So that could be like a cup or a document, a letter, are all types or examples of things that archaeologists could find in a dig. So, archaeology comes from the Greek word archaeos, which means ancient. There are all types of anthropologists, but we won't get into those. But I really want you to understand that there are different types of anthropologists, and because they analyze how human beings behave and they look at those objects, they are considered a type of anthropologist. So prehistory, so we know history is the study of past events, right? But prehistory is the time before written records. So archaeologists look for places where people may have lived, like caves. As you learned last year in 7th grade, you learned like those caves that early humans would be in. Also, some types of even those river systems that we talked about. They will study those types of places as well. And the next one are fossils. So fossils are just hardened remains or imprints of living things that existed long ago. So this includes plants, feathers, bones, and even footprints are all considered fossils. They're just remains. So geologists, so you probably learned this with Miss Wilson in science, and geologists are scientists who study the physical materials of Earth itself. So this really includes soil and rocks. So how do geologists date remains? Well, there are various ways that they do that, actually 3. So let's get into those right now. So number 1 is they compare objects found in similar layers of rock or soil. So the layers that are lower are older than the upper layer. So just kind of think of this as a ladder. Like you start from the bottom, you work your way up, right? As Drake will say. 2, compare an object with a similar fossil or artifact who's already known. So they would kind of take a rock that might look the same and compare it with a rock that they just found, just to see if this is the right place it should be. Number 3, lastly, radioactive dating is used to date objects up to 50,000 years old. So living things, just as you and I, have a radioactive element that actually decays or breaks down over time. So basically, they measure the amount of radioactive material in bones and other materials that were once alive. So they'll use the amount of carbon that is actually being emitted from that particular object to actually date that object. Artifacts. So artifacts are which archaeologists must carefully excavate or uncover. So they dig it up to kind of take it out of its place, whether it's in the dirt or maybe even a rock. These sites are used to learn about the people who once lived there. And they dig up these artifacts, which is anything made and used by humans, like the cup, your cup that you drink out of, the pencil that you use to write with, even the notebook that you write on, are all examples of artifacts. Your cell phone, your laptop that you're using right now to actually watch this lesson are all considered artifacts. So what do these artifacts help, or what do they do for archaeologists and historians like myself and even you? Well, they help us to understand how people once camped there, hunted for food, or what they ate, or most importantly, how they lived at that time. So, evidence. So, in all of your classes, especially ELA, you're always told to use evidence, stuff that comes out of your document, right? So evidence is used by historians, archaeologists, and anthropologists. Use and find evidence that help us understand the past. So I am able to teach history to you because I am using information that historians and archaeologists and even anthropologists use and find these artifacts to help me teach history. So what is evidence? So evidence is something that can be used as proof. So we know evidence is proof that we need in order to make our argument. And conclude. So once historians find their artifacts and evidence, they make a conclusion. So we all know that when you're writing an essay, you need a conclusion. You need to sum it all up. So this process is to conclude, which is to decide as a result of thinking or reasoning. So you are kind of summing up everything that you have written or found, which is your evidence. So the real question is, how does this information help you to understand U.S. history? I would like to know your answer. So please make sure you write your answer on your independent practice assignment that you need to do next after this. And that should be all. So if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know and I'll be happy to assist you, and have a great day. Bye.